Welcome to Healthy Conversations with Ease. Today we're going to talk about going 50-50. So I'm dating this girl from North Carolina. She's a social worker. So she came from the foster care system. She had wrote a book, and her becoming a social worker was like her way of giving back to where she came from. It was a great success story. So me and this girl, we was dating. We was having a good time with each other. So one day we decided to go watch the movie Barbie. Now, I agreed to watch Barbie because the week prior we had went and watched another movie that I wanted to watch. So, even square. We get into the movie theater. I sit down, relax. I know I'm finna take a nap. So while we're watching the movie, I eventually doze off. She wakes me up. Like, man, wake up. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. My fault. So about 15 minutes later, I look over at her. She's over there asleep. So I'm like, nah, you told me to wake up. You got to wake up also. She was like, man, I can't keep doing this, man. This movie's so boring. So I'm like, well, let's go. She said, let's go. So when we walk outside, I asked her, I said, I really want to know what the real purpose of this movie was. So she said, I don't know, but what I do know is Barbie got everything back in order. I said, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's Barbie's world. She said, yeah, because, the world's ran better when it's ran by women. So I said, okay. I don't really get into the feminism conversation like that because I don't like the division between the two. But I had to ask, tell me one place in the world that's ran better because it's ran by women. And this time we're getting in the car. So she thought for a second. She said, really? We really don't need y'all men for shit. I don't really like when women say that because as a man, I know I need a woman. I've never heard a man say that they don't need a woman because we all need each other. So for the rest of the ride back home, I rolled in silence. I didn't say a word because I'm trying to diffuse the tension that has came into this situation from nowhere. So once we get into the house, I start washing dishes. She go lay down on the couch. She's taking a nap. So she get up. She said she had to go home because it was time for the babysitter to leave. But when she got home, she hit a burst of energy. So she calls me. She said, hey, what does it look like paying bills living in the house with you? So I said, and I said, man, I see this conversation finna go left. So I said, well, I truly don't get into that conversation because every relationship is different. She said, yeah, I understand that, but I want to know how it is living in the house with you, paying bills. I said, well, honestly, I've lived with 3 women, and every time I pay all the bills, I would never do that again. I'm going to pay something in here. So she said, that's crazy that the last girl messed it up for everybody else. So I said, what do you mean she messed it up for everybody else? I mean, I'm not asking you to go 50-50 with me. I just said pay something, water bill, light bill, have some type of sense of self because we live together. So let me ask you this. She said, what? I said, so all of my money goes towards our house. That's me taking care of you, your son, and everything that we need. My daughter at the time was about 17. She's on her way to college, so we don't have to deal with her on the day-to-day. But I'm fine with all that. But what do you do with your money? She said, well, my money goes towards savings and paying off my bills. So I said, goes towards whose savings? She said, mine. So that conversation led me to wonder, how do people think that we're in a relationship and everything goes on one person? Now, the average man in the black community, realistically, he don't have the money to take care of himself, take care of all the bills, take care of you and your kids, probably outside kids, wine and dine, take you on trips. We gotta be realistic. Relationships supposed to be partnership. I don't think that a woman should go 50-50 with a man. I don't even really think that you should probably pay 30% of the bills. But at the end of the day, if we're in this together, we're in this together. Sometimes I'm going to be up. Sometimes I'm going to be down. But I need to know that when I'm down, that I can depend on my woman to hold the fort down until I get everything figured out. So in the comment section, y'all tell me what y'all think.